LSU at South Carolina. Now, we just talked about how we jumped all over the South Carolina-Kentucky line because we felt like this is a toss-up game and one team is getting 9.5 points. That felt like a no-brainer. So LSU is a 7.5-point favorite on the road at a place where when they are happy, it is a very difficult place to play. And they are
happy.
very happy after South Carolina dump truck Kentucky. Now, South Carolina was not particularly dominant offensively in that game. There were a bunch of plays where Kentucky basically declined to cover South Carolina's receivers, but South Carolina still only threw for 166 yards. They only ran 50 plays in that game. A lot of that was Kentucky just shooting itself in the foot over and over. So I don't know that we learned anything about South Carolina being a particularly dominant team in a dominant win. It's just that Kentucky was awful. But LSU, we're still not sure about their defense. LSU gave up a couple of long drives to Nichols. Now, they still won the game. But a couple of things that were red flags in that game. They gave a couple of long drives. Now, they actually were pretty good against the run for most of the game, but their secondary is not good. We knew that. We saw that against USC. LSU also struggled to run the ball. Remember, the only time they've run the ball in their first two games effectively is when John Emery was running it in the second half of the USC game.
And he's gone.
And he tore his ACL last week, and he's out for the season. So, am I weird because even though you're giving South Carolina more than a touchdown here, and we just said all that stuff that we just said, am I weird here for thinking this is a bounce-back game for LSU?
Well, I initially said, give me the points. Or in my head. Like, I saw that, and I was like, give me the points. Because here's what I think is going to be the game. LSU secondary against Lenora Sellers. Like, are we going to get...
Yeah, how do we feel about Lenora Sellers? Because he was throwing against Kentucky to wide open receivers. And I don't know if it's something that South Carolina was doing to confuse Kentucky's secondary or if Kentucky's secondary was just making terrible mental mistakes. But like with LSU, we've seen so far this year, like against USC, they left guys open too. But it might be that USC's receivers and Miller Moss were just that good.
Well, USC's receivers and Miller Moss probably are just that
right,
good.
And they're better than South Carolina's version.
Yeah.
You could play Prize Picks anytime you want because they've got the NFL, they've got the WNBA, they've got darts, they've got esports, you name it. But the board is going to be stacked for college football early in the week, and you can start having some fun with college football and Prize Picks. So you play $5, you get $50 instantly if you use the code Staples. Prize Picks is the most fun daily fantasy game in the world. You're playing against the number. There's going to be a total number of yards for, let's say, a receiver or a quarterback. So in the game that we're talking about with Kansas and UNLV, Jalen Daniels, they'll be probably, he can throw for more than or fewer than this many yards. He can run for more than or fewer than this many yards, combined rushing and receiving. And you decide, is it going to be more than? Is it going to be less than? You pick that square. You pick at least two squares. You can pick more than that. And the more you pick, the higher the potential payout. So download that Prize Picks app. Use the code Staples. Play 5. Get 50 instantly. And also, all year or all month long, you play Caleb Williams with the Bears. And as he throws for a yard, you win that square. So he did throw for a yard.
That was actually kind of a close one.
It was close. He threw for a yard. The Bears won. He didn't throw for a lot of yards, but he did throw for a yard. So you're going to get him every week this month as well. So download that Prize Picks app, code Staples, play 5, get 50.
But I'm not going to sit here on this couch next to you, my friend, and pick against an undefeated team at home that's going to have a loud crowd
and has 7.5 points. I know.
No, and against the Rec Specs. Come on,
what
are we doing?
Rec Specs, that's
like
true.
You just started the tidal wave of that. I'm not going to pick against them yet. Here's the thing: like LSU, in theory, should be very, very good this year, right? Or
no,
or they should be in theory
not very, very good because we don't know if their defense is any good.
Well, their defense, I think, I'm comfortable saying, is much better already than it was a year ago. Because if they were as bad as they were a year ago,
I'm not
USC,
comfortable saying that.
You
yet.
don't think so? I think
No.
USC would have ran it up to 45, 50 points
We
if they
don't
were
know with USC yet. Like I'm going to
No,
need
but
to see USC against Michigan.
I know for a fact that USC skill position players are elite.
They're very good. Yeah.
We don't. I guess you're right. We don't know.
Now South Carolina
Miller
has a
Moss.
5-star receiver too.
Yeah, I know.
Nick Harbor, but
Yeah,
he hasn't
and an Olympian.
done a whole lot. So.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe this will be the day. But I think that coming out of the LSU USC game, I felt much more comfortable about both teams' defenses than, I mean, it couldn't have been worse last year. So, like, I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I think South Carolina is able to score in this game. I think the crowd at home helps. I think that LSU, and when I say very, very good, I don't mean like national title good, but I thought, with Harold Perkins and an improved defense, and if Garrett Nussmeier hit, this could be a 9-10 win team. South Carolina has proven during the Beamer era that they're a tough out at home.
Absolutely.
People care a lot right now.
And when a coach feels like they might be teetering on the brink of something, that's a bad place to go. Like I remember Dan Mullen going there in 2021, and it just, poop rolled downhill real quick.
Yeah.
And that's that. So I'm not saying the LSU people are out on Brian Kelly, but I am saying doubt has begun to creep in.
And if this doesn't go well, Andy, we're going to have a very different discussion. We learned last week that with Marcus Freeman, that sentiment can flip quickly in this sport. So
very quickly. All right, so you are taking South Carolina in this game.
Wouldn't be surprised if South Carolina won, by the way.
No.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm telling you, I'm going against my better instincts. My instinct is all of the things Ari's saying make perfect sense. All the things I just said, I just took Arizona for the same reason in the Arizona-Kansas State game. I took South Carolina last week at Kentucky for the same reason. Don't ask me why I'm going against my gut here. But I just think LSU's going to...
Probably because LSU just has better players.
That may be it.
I think that
I'm going to say LSU covers here, which it's hard to say. Like, I don't like this line at all, but I'm going to say LSU covers.
Yeah, you'll probably be right. It's the ones that you get really confident on that you seem to miss. But like South Carolina, if they win this game, Columbia is going to be wild.
It is. It is going to be absolutely wild. They're going to head to 5 points. They're going to head to the Village Idiot.
Yeah, we have Akron the following week for South Carolina, then a 3-game stretch against Ole Miss, Bama, and Oklahoma. And then after that, they get A&M, and they don't get a reprieve until Vanderbilt in November. So enjoy Akron this or
next week
if you beat LSU. But I'm looking at the schedule, and it's just like somebody pissed somebody off in the SEC with that 3-game
I don't know
stretch.
What Beamer said or did, but they weren't happy about it.
Do you like to picture like a coach's face? Because I do this all the time in my head of like when they first see their schedule.
Oh God. Like Billy Napier's face this year?
Like I just picture like the Lane Kiffin play sheet throw call, but like in an angry way.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on.
Oh yeah, like the old Spurrier play sheet toss.
Yeah.
Like, where he spikes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's especially like I think Shane Beamer did that. I think Kirby Smart did that when he saw who they had to play on the road.
Yeah.
I think Billy Napier clearly did that.
Kirby Smart didn't do that. He knows they're better.
No, I don't know.
Kirby Smart, that man.
Do you think Lane Kiffin did throw the play sheet up in celebration when he saw Ole Miss's schedule?
Maybe. I think the schedule was seen before the roster was assembled. I think they saw the schedule and they're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. This is an all-in year.
All right, guys, come on, bring it in. Where's the Brinks truck? Just back it up right over there.
You're right. They did know the schedule.
Yeah.
But at this point last
so here's what we have. Here's who we're playing. Here's what we need.
Yeah.
It's like a loan
or
some sort of financial transaction here to get this thing on the right track.
That's exactly right. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.